Hello.
Hello.
How are you, Michelle?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, very good, thanks. It's Neil Waters here.
Yeah.
Michelle, is it all right if I record this interview for our podcast?
It was a long time ago. It was like 40 years ago.
That's not the end of the world. That's okay. We don't mind how long ago it was because we've had other sightings in the area since.
Oh, okay. I was wondering about that because my mother actually saw one years before I did, but never told anyone about it.
Okay, whereabouts did your mum see one?
Were you familiar with Golden Grove at all?
I sure am. I grew up in Gillis Plains.
All right, okay. Well, do you remember where the old Lascocks was? On the main North Road, and there was a big creek behind it.
Yeah, that's down the bottom of the Grove Way.
No.
Oh, no, it's down the bottom of McIntyre Road, sorry, isn't it? Right opposite.
Where they put the Tea Tree Plaza, or built it up.
Oh, you're talking about... Did Lascocks used to be up where Tea Tree Plaza is?
Down past Tea Tree Plaza, heading towards the city, on the right.
On the right-hand side, where Bunnings is.
Oh, I'm not sure now.
I know where you mean. It's just near the Smart Road intersection there.
Yeah, it used to be, yeah.
Yeah, I remember it now. I used to work for Tree Gully Council back then.
All right, okay.
So, what your mum saw one way down there?
Yeah, way down there about 10 or 12 years before me. So, and she reckons I was 7 when she saw it.
So that was back in the 70s?
Yep, that was back before they started building everything up.
Yep.
Yeah, it was about 3 o'clock in the morning, apparently. They were driving up Main North East Road.
Yeah, right. Well, that's getting a little bit further into the burbs, but not out of the ordinary because I don't know if you checked your emails. I sent you an email yesterday.
Oh, no, I haven't.
Well, back in the late 60s, early 70s, there was a lot of sightings around Anstey's Hill.
Anstey's Hill, which one's that?
Up at Vista.
Oh, right.
Along Perseverance Road there.
All right, so was that creek and that's there?
There is a couple of creeks that come out of Anstey's Hill, but it was about half a dozen people saw this thing, and then one day a couple were leaving Anstey's Hill. And do you remember how they've changed the road at the top of Grand Junction Road, and there used to be that little triangle of bush that you drove through to go onto Lower North East Road?
Yep, they changed everything.
Yeah, well, that old road there that used to cut through with that little triangle of bush, it stood in the middle of the road. They had to slam on the brakes, and it just stood there looking at them, and then it just trottled off, basically. They saw it for a good 20 or 30 seconds.
Yeah, I can't remember how long I saw the one I saw for, but I felt like it was forever.
Sure. So yours was in the 1980s, wasn't it?
Yep, and that was right. Do you remember, like, on Golden Grove Road, it used to go from sort of the city sort of living, and then it went into the country. Like, it was only a little road.
Yeah, I do. And that was from where? From Grenfell Road onwards, pretty much, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
I used to drive home that way, and I was going along there one night, and it crossed not far up the road as you got into the country bit, and it came out from where the end of the creek hit the road.
So as you go past Grenfell Road, you go up the little hill, then it goes down a dip, and that's Yatla Vale Road, isn't it? That next intersection?
Before the hill, I think, it was just flat, and it was, like, probably not far from where, like, because I'm pretty sure at the time I was only doing, like, 60 Ks.
Sure.
I wasn't going very fast. Plus it was nearly dark.
So it was on dusk?
It was on dusk. And, it just, like, it was probably only 3 or 4 car lengths away from me. It just came out and stood there and for a few seconds, and I was watching it as I was driving up because I thought, well, there was a dog doing out here.
Yeah.
And then I looked at it and thought, sorry, I'm rolling the smoke.
No, that's all right.
That's not a dog. And I thought, funny looking dog, because I was looking at it for ages. And then I saw, because it was like, sort of looked like the one they took the photos of in the Tasmania, was it museum, the bigger one.
Yeah.
Really, like slender, and then I saw the markings on its back, and I was like, oh my God, like, is this a Tasmanian tiger I'm looking at? And then I looked at it more and followed, and then I looked at its tail and I went, oh my God, it is a Tasmanian tiger. I just could not believe it.
So it sat there while you drove past it, or did it move?
Then it started to move, and it just sort of ran across the road. From this, like, from when I first saw it, it didn't actually just fly and bolt. I'm pretty sure it looked at me for a couple of seconds, and then it just continued and ran across the road and went up the hill on the right. I think there was a farm there at the time.
Yeah, there's all houses there now. That's Surrey Downs, isn't it, that area?
Up at the back, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but yeah, there was, and I think back then it was all grapevines and
paddocks.
You know, paddock and country.
Yep.
Yeah, but yeah, it came out of the creek, and I just went, and I didn't even know about the one my mum had seen years before until I said to her, "You're going to think I'm nuts, but I saw a Tasmanian tiger last night." And she said, no, I don't think you're nuts, because I'm sure I saw one about 10 years before that.
Yeah, okay.
At Lascaux.
Yeah, I do remember Lascaux Nursery, and it's where that tyre joint and that BP is on the corner. In that triangle there, and the creek runs through the back of it there.
Yeah.
I do remember it now.
Yeah, so I just figured that it was following the creek along, but I couldn't work out how the hell in 10 years it would be, like, only have moved that distance.
Yeah.
So, and there was only one, and I thought, oh, geez, I hope there's more of you, because I want to see some more of you. Well, you know, not literally, I've never seen one since.
Yeah, no, they're usually pretty fleeting sightings.
Yeah, they're very good at staying out of view. I'm still, like, now I'm still flabbergasted with it, because with all these sightings, I know for sure that they're here. It's just they're so good at staying undercover. Yeah,
they are. Every now and then they slip up and someone spots one.
Yeah. It was just... I've also seen, like, I lived at Snowtown.
Oh, yeah.
And I saw this huge black, it looked like a panther crossing the road in front of me, but by the time I got to where it was long gone. But this thing was, it looked like the size of a blooming lion. It was huge.
Yeah, right. When was that?
Up in between Snowtown and Clare.
Okay, on that back road.
The road that goes, from
I know.
Snowtown.
Yeah, I know that road.
Pretty long straight road.
Yep, and it goes across that big swampy floodplain in that valley there. It's pretty flat.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there was actually a house near where that crossed too. And by the time I got down there where I saw it, because I was ages away.
Yeah.
It was long gone, but I actually asked around town, and apparently some other guy from Snowtown had seen that as well, but he was like a really high-figured sort of person in town.
So he didn't want to talk about it publicly.
And everybody thought he was crazy when he said it, but I wasn't the only one that saw it, so...
Yeah, okay. There's quite a few thylacine sightings up through the mid-north, but they tend to be a bit sparse because of the population of people being sparse, you know?
Yeah.
Because people are in these little rural areas and they sort of stay in their communities pretty much. But what year was that when you saw that, do you reckon?
I think it was in between 1980 and 84. I've been trying to put it together because oh God, I'm like nearly 60 now.
Yeah, okay.
So, and I was about 20-ish when I saw it.
Yep.
So, and now I really haven't told anyone because, like I said, when I wrote, I didn't want anyone to go looking for it. I wanted it to be free.
Yeah, sure. I used to swim in that dam up there at Windvale. You know that irrigation dam? We used to ride our bicycles up there in the early 80s and swim in that dam.
All right. I used to go to the Birdwood waterhole.
On the River Tyrons.
Yeah, up at Birdwood.
Yep.
Yeah, there was one, big waterhole. It was, so you lived at Gillis Plains.
Yeah, I lived at Gillis Plains. I grew up there till I was 18 before I left home. So I know the northeast really well. And then in 1990, when I was 21, 22, I got a job at Tree Gully Council as a gardener. And I worked there for 7 years. So Fairview Park, Redwood Park, Banksia Park, all that area was my area that I used to look after. So I got to know those streets and creeks and everything really well.
And then Snowtown and now Manham.
Oh, you're in Manham now?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we got sightings, got lots of sightings out in the Murray Mallee, actually, so don't be surprised if you bump into another one out there.
Well, I might have to start going driving more.
Yeah, they like that area where the waterfalls are up there. There's a couple of sightings in that gully.
All right.
Where the Manham Falls are, and then along the Marne River as well.
Well, that's only 10 minutes from me.
Yeah, there's a few sightings along there too. She's pretty hot, harsh country out there. But they're still out there. And the sightings in the Mallee sort of extend north all the way up to like Mount Mary and then all the way south down towards the Coorong, really. They're right across there. So.
Well, just wonder how many there really are. Like, there must be hundreds.
I think there probably is thousands on the mainland, but, you know, if you ask a scientist, they'll tell you there's none. There's not one on the mainland. So.
Well, I know that's all because I've seen one.
Yeah.
It was a fairly good size.
Anyway, the Tea Tree Gully area, Golden Grove, and then right down to Paraka even, they're seen down there on Main North Road. They've been seen in quite a few places.
Lately?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, really?
With the last sighting I had from South Australia was about November, I think it was, and it was 3 guys working in Murray Bridge, and they saw one in broad daylight come running across an oval in Murray Bridge.
Wow.
So, you know, there's probably a good dozen or so sightings from around Murray Bridge that I've got. But all around the fringes of Adelaide, they're being seen. They're being seen at Athelston, Unley, all over the place. So,
wow. It won't be long.
Yeah, sooner or later someone's going to get a good photo or run one over or find a dead one lying somewhere and the gig will be up. You know, science will have to explain itself then.
Yeah, I just hope they protect them now.
Yeah, well, they are protected technically because they're a native animal, but, you know, while they're not considered, the way we do things in the land might need to be reviewed a bit, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot of idiots out there that are gun happy and just want to, you know, go and, like those idiots over that want to go and kill elephants and bloody rhinos for their horns and...
Yeah, there's always that element, but I think these things are that elusive. Like, with all the ones that were killed in Tasmania, 90% of them weren't shot. They were trapped in snares. So it wasn't actually hunters with guns that wiped them out. It was more so fur trappers that were trapping animals for their skins.
Right.
So, because these are pretty elusive animals, they're pretty smart. They don't really get shot at a terrible lot.
They are.
So
they're very smart.
That's definitely working in their favour anyway.
Yeah, I couldn't get to sleep last night thinking about this. It's just really, really exciting.
Yeah, well, have a look at that email I sent you. There's a little bit of extra info in there that I didn't mention over the phone, so...
Oh, okay, good.
But yeah, definitely Tea Tree Gully's a hot spot, and where you are out at Manham's a hot spot too. They leave footprints. They leave footprints behind in soft, wet sand. So any of those erosion gullies that come off of those cliffs down towards the river there, up to, I think it's Pernong. Is it Pernong that's upstream from Mannum?
I'm not sure. Could be.
I can't remember. But if you drive upstream from Mannum, on the Mannum side of the river, there's a few erosion gullies that come down towards the river there, and there's quite a few sightings up through there.
Yeah, because they like the sandy sort of area, don't they?
Yeah, and if there's an erosion gully they can hide in instead of being out in the open, they'll walk along there instead, see? So they like to stay out of the way of people as much as possible, and those sorts of environments give them a bit of cover, so... But yeah, they're definitely still out there. I wouldn't doubt it for a second.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's just great news. But yeah, I really haven't ever told anybody because I didn't want people to think that they were out there and go looking for them.
Yeah, look, I think they're pretty safe, to be honest. I think that the biggest thing they've got to worry about is poison baits. That's about it, really. So, and that's more the government that use that stuff than anybody. So, once again, the government are the biggest idiots out there, pretty much.
Yeah, with everything they are. They're the ones that should be poison baited.
Yeah, well, don't start me up on that one.
Everybody now is just out of control.
Yeah, but people are wising up, I think. So there's always hope.
Yeah.
All right, Michelle. Well, thanks very much for your.
Tasmania, are you?
Sorry.
You're in Tasmania.
Yeah, I am. I'm out in the northeast of Tassie now. I moved back here in 2019, so I'm in a pretty good spot where I am. It's beautiful, beautiful country out here. I've had 3 sightings, but they're all down here. But I looked for them in South Australia for about 5 years. And I found evidence of them being there, but I never actually saw one in South Australia.
Yeah.
But I reckon I got barked at by one up at Kaipo Forest back in 2018.
Right. Yeah, I was listening to that noise, whatever that silly chatter noise was, but I can't imagine a noise like that coming from an animal like that.
Well, they make several vocalisations, and one that they're well known for is a really high-pitched yip when they're hunting. So they kind of yip a little bit like a terrier. It sounds like a yippy little dog, but it's actually them, and they communicate that way when they're hunting as a family group or as a pair, and they spook the game with that. And their sense of smell's fantastic, so I think they drive the game forward and they yip between each other to disorientate the game, and then they come in for the kill.
Yeah, I suppose a little yip wouldn't be as scary as a big bark or a roar or whatever other sort of noise they're able to make.
Yeah, it's. I mean, God knows why they make this little yippy noise, but it seems to be when they're hunting anyway. So.
Yeah, it's amazing to think it's not a dog, because when I saw it, I thought, my God, what's this dog doing? And then I thought, wow, it's not a dog, but amazing how much they look like a dog.
Yeah, well, they've kind of evolved to fill the niche of a wolf. That's called convergent evolution, where things just evolve to fill an empty space that's there in the environment, and they just ended up looking like a dog. But we had a lot of marsupials that looked a lot like other mammals, but they were marsupials. Like, there's a little thing that's got a little trunk like a tapir. There's the marsupial lion that sort of filled the role of a big cat. There's all these weird things. There's a diptrodon, which sort of filled the role of a hippopotamus sort of thing as well. So there's just all these really unusual things that sort of were marsupials, but they look similar to placental mammals from other continents. So that's just...
It's an amazing world we live in.
It certainly is, mate. That's Mother Nature just doing her thing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, look, you have a great day. Thanks again for your time. I appreciate your information. And if your mum wants to have a chat, let her know. And I've sent her I left a message on her answering machine. So if she doesn't want it, that's fine.
Oh, she does actually. She said, "Is he going to ring me?" Because she's told people. She told my dad, and he just said to her, "Oh, you're a bloody idiot," like, don't be stupid. So.
Oh well, I'll give her another ring. So I've sent you an email. Maybe flick me an email back on what time's a good time to ring her, and I'll give her a ring.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yep.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Cheers, Michelle.
Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye.
Hello?
Hello, is that Jan?
Yes, speaking.
Hi, Jan. My name's Neil Waters. Your daughter Michelle gave me your number.
Oh, right, yes. Yeah, about the Thylacine.
Yeah, that's correct.
Uh-huh. Well, it's a long time ago. I don't know whether it's of any use to you.
Any sightings of use to me, Jan? Historical and recent, and we've got a lot of both. So, by all means, I'm happy to hear your story.
Okay. Well, my kids were very young then, asleep in the back of the car. We were driving from Enfield out to Ridgehaven
Yep.
about 11 o'clock at night. My husband was driving, and I was in the passenger seat. The two kids were in the back asleep. And this shape, or it wasn't a shape, no, I could see it fairly clearly, ran across the road in front of us from the right to the left. We were right by a creek bed which went around the back of Lascox on Main North East Road.
That's at the bottom of Smart Road there.
That's right, dead right, yeah.
I remember where Lascox used to be. Then it became that timber joint, and is it still there, the timber place?
Yeah, I think it is, yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I remember. So you're talking well before the
I'm
McIntyre
talking
Road
about-
extension went in there.
About 1970.
Wow, that long ago.
Yeah.
So that's pre-Tea Tree Plaza days.
Let me see. Oh, yeah, it might have just been there then.
Okay, very long time ago.
Yes, and there's a reasonable amount of places, homes and that around it.
Yeah,
As
sure.
I say, it was the main road, but a lot of open country.
Yeah, well, Golden Grove was all grapevines and paddocks back in those days.
Yeah, well, our house was built on grapevine land, yes. Yeah. As I say, it was about 1970.
Yeah, okay.
I'm pretty, I say this because I hardly ever said anything to anybody, but I did tell my daughter when she reported she'd seen one too, but this was many years later. But I'm an artist, and I know shapes and colours,
Yep.
and the rear legs and the long tail area and the stripes, quite distinct stripes on the back, was what really stood out in my mind. And I thought that I haven't seen anything like that before, and I knew what it was then.
What sort of distance was it from you, do you think?
Not very good on distances, but 50 feet.
Okay, yep.
Yeah.
And did your husband see it as well?
No, as it happened, he wasn't. He didn't. No, I was the only one.
Okay.
He's dead anyway now. So.
Oh, that's no good. What sort of car were you driving back in the day?
Ford Cortina, station wagon.
Oh, yeah, yep.
Little old Cortina.
Yep. And you say you the colour. What colour was it, Jan?
It was a biscuity colour, slightly darker than biscuit, with much darker stripes down from the back down. Yeah,
okay. And if you had to compare it to a size of a dog, what sort of dog would you say it was roughly the same size as?
Let's see, a small Alsatian.
Okay, so a reasonable size.
Oh, a reasonable size, yes, yeah.
Did you see it for what, maybe 4 or 5 seconds as it ran across, or?
1, 2, 3. 3 seconds, 3 to 4 seconds.
Yep.
Now, as I said, I'm an artist, so I've been trained to look for detail and look at things, and I could draw it. I'm pretty sure I didn't imagine it, put it that way.
Sure. Your husband driving and not seeing it, why do you think that was? Was he just looking the other way at the time, or?
Well, we were on the main road, and there wasn't other car coming towards us at quite a distance away. I dare say he was looking at that side. It sort of popped out from in those days, the road was almost a double laneway. You know, it wasn't a really wide road in those days.
Yeah, I remember. I grew up in Gillis Plains. I remember when there used to be a roundabout at the corner of Main North East and Grand Junction. Do you remember that?
Yes.
It was a really big roundabout, but they put the lights in there in the early 70s.
I'm not sure there was a roundabout there then.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay, it might have already been gone, but anyway, that's okay. So, when you saw it, did you notice anything particular about it other than the stripes and the tail? Anything else stood out?
The shape of its rear hindquarters is what really hit me.
Okay.
It wasn't shaped like a dog. It wasn't shaped like anything I've seen before. I had seen pictures, obviously.
Yeah, sure, since then.
No, then, I think.
Right.
I immediately thought, well, that's definitely a Tasmanian tiger.
Yeah, okay.
But I knew they were supposed to be extinct, so I really didn't talk about it very much.
Yeah, that seems to be the case with a lot of mainland sightings. A lot of people are aware of the fact that they're not meant to be there, but when they see them, it's sort of a bit of cognitive dissonance in some ways, because it's like, well, if it's not meant to be here, what's it doing walking past?
Yeah, exactly. It was running, it wasn't walking, it was loping, I would say, rather than running, loping.
Okay, loping along. That's a common word used to describe their gait. Some people, when they see them running or loping along, they say they run a bit awkward, like they're injured or drunk or something like that.
No, I don't think so. I didn't notice that.
But it was loping along at a steady
Loping,
pace.
yes.
Yep. So it headed from the right-hand side to the left-hand side, heading towards the creek again.
That's right, yes.
But okay.
We'd gone past Lescott's, we were just past Lescott's. Now, there was lights on that corner.
Yes.
Where Lescott's were. It was just past that, so it was going into darker territory.
Okay, yep. And there's the BP and everything on the corner there now, and I think there's Bridgestone tyres and all that there as well.
Yeah. Now, when my daughter saw one, this is when I spoke out about it, I think, when she told me.
Yep.
That she reckoned she'd seen one. Now, her sighting was on the same creek, but further out.
Okay. Whereabouts was hers again? I did speak to her the other day.
Golden Grove Road.
Oh, that's right.
But that would have been the same creek, I would think.
I'm
not sure about that, maybe.
Well, they're all headwaters of Dry Creek, and Dry Creek becomes Dry Creek at Valley View, just down the road from that where you had your sighting, actually.
Yeah.
So all of those creeks converge and become Dry Creek and then head out towards Paraka through the wetlands.
Yeah, that's right.
And we've had sightings down at Paraka, we've had sightings at Wingfield. You'd be pleased to know that around 1969, 1970, there was a whole plethora of sightings up at Anstey's Hill, and it made it into the papers.
Right.
And there was it made the front page of what was the Leader local newspaper back in those days.
Yeah.
And a couple nearly ran it over at the top of... do you remember the old intersection that used to be at the end of Hancock Road and Lower North East Road?
Yes.
And Perseverance Road? Well, they were coming off of Perseverance Road, heading on to Lower North East Road, and they had to stop so it could walk past at about 6:30 in the morning. So, yeah, there's been quite a few sightings all around Tree Gully and Adelaide. We found some really interesting prints up at Golden Grove only about 4 or 5 years ago, actually. And they're really big. They're really big prints.
Right.
So it's not unusual that you've seen one. I don't have any doubt that you know what you saw. Awesome.
Yes. Well, it's very interesting. Well, good luck with your search.
Excellent. No worries.
How come there's no bodies or nothing like that, you know?
Well,
That always got me.
There's been 2 from caves on the Nullarbor, but the carbon dating said they were 2,000 years old, despite the fact that one had maggot casings next to it and appeared to be quite fresh. Still had an eyeball, but it was apparently 2,000 years old. So
Definitely not the one I saw.
Yeah. No, they're definitely not. Look, I don't think they've ever been extinct on the mainland. I think they're just extremely elusive, and they've got a lot more places to hide than they do in Tassie to a degree, I suppose. It's a much bigger area, but there's stories where they've been hit by cars and it's been covered up, and there's stories of people shooting them and tanning the hides, but still no solid, definitive deceased animal to prove that it does exist on the mainland, unfortunately. So,
Right.
but we keep trying. There's sightings all across Australia, though. Every state and territory has sightings. So,
Amazing. Yeah.
an extremely solitary, very smart, very elusive animal.
Yep. For sure.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks very much for your time, Jan. I really appreciate it.
Okay, right.
Cheers for that.
Good luck.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.